Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We have an unbelievable show. I'm Harvey Free. To the right of me, the best, the wonderful Becky Alley.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us. Happy Saturday. It is a summer day outside. I'm excited about that.
Oh, we're all pumped up here, and I'd like for you to bring in Susan Weiss from eXp Realty. Susan, our new guest, your first time on the show. Thanks for breaking the ice with us.
Good morning, all. It's a beautiful day in Michigan. Time to hit the lakes.
I love it. My fellow Virgo, we got a lot of lake talk with definitely going to be going on here. Michelle Sabert, she's on the water too. Hey, Michelle.
That's right. And Grosse Ile. We're going to put that boat in the water today too. Let's go.
Freaking love Grosse Ile. I think I was in my...
I'm just going to boat jump, I think. I'm just going to hop on someone else's boat.
Let's go.
I got room, Becky. I got room for two. I love Grosse Ile. You know, I wasn't introduced. Grew up in Oakland County. And, my family had this liquor store down in Detroit. I know the Detroit River real well. Always worked on Jefferson and Grand Boulevard. So it wasn't like I was afraid of getting down there. But Grosse Ile is this like unbelievable thing when I found it in my 20s. And what a great place to live.
So much development going on right now. Like you just cruised the shore and I'm like, that house went up fast. That went up quick. And like just some of the, what they're doing in the river just to like protect some of the islands, the barriers. Like they're just, it's really great. So I'm really, really blessed to be there.
Things are quite quiet there for a little while. They always got the bridge controversy going back and forth. I think you guys are eventually going to build a new bridge, or you guys just buy helicopters and you don't even need this bridge.
I think we perpetuate the bridge drama to keep like people away. That's how it works.
I listen because I know it's like you're either an islander or you're not an islander.
We like to keep it Mayberry.
That's true.
Susan, a little shout out to all the people out in Belleville Lake, right?
Exactly.
Lake Belleville. Okay. I'll give my shout out to Cass Lake and Sylvan Lake. I'm going to be out on Sylvan today in Oakland County. And thanks to Jamie and Alita for inviting us on Lake St. Clair. Look, folks, we live in Michigan, the Great Lakes state. We are going to talk a little bit about real estate and lake living and what goes down. And, Susan and I are talking about saving ducks. It's every day when you live on the water, there's some duck controversy going on. Sure enough, my
That's true.
Duck Dynasty, right? My girlfriend was able to save a duck with some plastic wrapped around its mouth, a baby. It looks like you had a chance to save somebody. But, again, we're just out there enjoying the nature that and the beautiful area that we have here. We got golf going on. We got the British Open going on. A lot of guys out there golfing, too.
There's a reason why people love Michigan. You hear like, oh, I don't want to be do the winters, but it is really beautiful here. We have one of the few states that you can literally drive a couple hours and feel like you're on the Caribbean, whether it is Higgins Lake or Torch Lake. Or you have all these inland lakes. We have so many lakes. That's why we are the Great Lakes state. And that is why people are transferring from out of state back to Michigan, because the jobs are here and it's very affordable. When you look at the numbers nationally, there's a lot of metropolitan areas that you're completely priced out. You have, my cousin, her daughter was in New York, and literally she described it as a closet in New York City for $3,000 a month rent.
Yep.
And now for half that, they have a 3-bedroom house that they're renting while they're getting acclimated, coming back into, back to Michigan. So, sure, you can go out of state and try it on like a shirt, but there's no place like home, and that's Michigan.
I'm going to bolt on to that because recently I was in North Carolina, South Carolina, the Dominican Republic, Denver. Like I'm telling you, I made the tour of like, okay, where's a good place to invest? What's up and coming and what's next? And all of those real estate partners that I was connecting with in those markets were like, Michigan. You mean you can buy and you can cash flow in Michigan?
Yeah.
Like it's unheard of. It's like even Hawaii, it's another one I was looking at. Like, okay, where can I get something that, maybe under, 400,000, 500,000 that would just be like a little starter, maybe cash flow or Airbnb. And there's absolutely just when you're looking nationally, people are buying from other states here.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I talk about this often, and I'm so glad that you're on the show to attest to this, because I bring it up often because I see it on the finance side. We see it on the finance side. There was a big boom in Texas as far as people jumping in from the outside in, from California, going to Texas, going to Georgia. But now it's switched, and I have a lot of investors that are coming in from California, Texas, Georgia, and they're investing here in Michigan, and because it's so affordable, because people are understanding that building your real estate portfolio sometimes is the next level of retirement.
Yeah.
What I'm finding is a lot of people that move to the Florida or other southern states, anywhere, they're coming back because they miss their grandkids and they miss that family life. They think moving south or west is the key to it, but family's it.
Well, I think, too, when you mentioned Florida, people just are talking about how outpriced Florida has been. I mean, you've had not only do we have the standard market appreciation, but then we've had all the hurricanes and people like losing their homes and just the desirability of being in Florida right now. So a lot of people are getting priced out, and they're realizing it's not the cat's meow that they thought it was when they went down there, and they're coming back.
And the
guys.
humidity in the summer.
They just can't deal with
Oh
it.
man, my hair would just grow. My hair grows.
That's a reason not to move
Mine
back.
I'm looking like a llama here by the afternoon. It's fine.
Some people come back and they say, hey, it's a great place to visit, but I just don't want to live there. You hear that sometimes. Hey, what about this inventory? Let's just get into it. Inventory. Is there a housing slump? I mean, the numbers are showing that we're definitely off from last year, but it doesn't feel like there's a housing slump here at all. But we know there's a lack of inventory that's keeping these prices up.
Yeah, you know me. I always come to this radio show like
You got
I
some
got my numbers.
Oh,
I'm
baby.
prepared.
Yes.
So I actually looked at the year to date, year over year rather. I'm sorry, June of last year to June of this year, because those stats are complete and those are done.
Yes.
And I know we have said this so many freaking times over and over again, but that's why we're doing this radio show every week, right? Is that when you're looking at, okay, what are available homes on the market? There's less homes available on the market than there were last year. About 2,000 homes less available on the market than there were last year. And when you're looking at what new listings are coming on the market, my God, there's like 4,000 less homes in the month of June from last year. So not only, you're looking at, okay, what's new coming on, what's been available, those are both less than what there were last year. 4,000 less, 2,000 less homes that are, available for buyers at this time. And, what's under contract? I mean, that's even much more competitive as well. I mean, a little bit of the good news in this is that we went from an average days on market from 19 to 27 in our local MLS. So it may take a little bit longer for some of these homes to sell, which if you can get in early, which I'm finding, people are doing a little bit more shopping and then trying to compare. But then what ends up happening is we're still ending up with multiple offers. It'll take Susan and I, a week to get an offer and get multiple offers versus getting multiple offers in 2 days. So it's a situation where, okay, if you can still come in, you can come in strong. You might have a little bit of bargaining power, but the longer you wait, the more you think, the more you consider, the more you're window shopping, you're losing. So
we talk about that often where if you're in the
Ridiculous.
market, don't quit, because like I was to that point of your stats, right? The amount sold, of homes is the lowest amount that it's been since 2009.
Yeah.
But there is such a lack of inventory. So that's why it's this weird conundrum of, okay, you have all these buyers that are trying to find homes, but then they're sitting on the market longer, but then we have this lack of inventory. It's just like, it is wild out there because people know what they want, and the buyers have these like a little bit maybe sometimes unrealistic expectations, and sometimes you feel that it takes them a second to really come down off of their like, this is what I want. And the reason I bring this up is actually on my way here, I was talking to a first-time home buyer. And she was like, I want to buy in the $200,000 price range, but I need 4 bedrooms.
Oh, boy.
I need down payment assistance, and I want the basement to be finished. And she said, do you think that's achievable? I'm like, well, we're going to have to get with your real estate agent. I was like, however, you might have to uncheck maybe a finished basement if the 4 bedrooms is more important. So like, I'm even having these conversations to set up my referral partners for success, because I know that's not realistic in this market right now.
And I think the key to that is working with an agent that takes the time to find out, what your buyers want, sitting down with them before we start the process, taking 20 minutes, explaining the whole process to them about inspections, about making your offers, how you get your offer accepted when you're in a multiple offer situation. And it takes that professional agent and the time, and it's not wasting your buyer's time or your time. It's investing in your people so you're not wasting our time or theirs.
Michelle, some of these people are a little fatigued, like you said, maybe waiting another week to get those multiple offers. Maybe some fatigue out there setting in, as a lot of the buyers have had multiple offers. I have a handful of clients, definitely 5, 6, 7 offers already, and they're still struggling to get accepted.
Yeah. You talk about, you just go where my brain already is. Thank you.
Shoot. I'm trying to get in there.
You got it. We're aligned, friend. We're aligned. So yeah, I mean, there is quite a lot of fatigue out there. I just want to plant a seed that, these buyers are feeling fatigued because they're having to bid sometimes on 2, 3, 5 houses before they win. Who's going to win? The person that's built to last, the person that keeps bidding and keeps trying and doesn't quit. That's who's going to win. And something else was brought to mind. I was speaking to a home builder this week, and it shocked me. They're not building small houses anymore. So if you're a first-time home buyer, there's no market in new construction for a first-time home buyer. They're not building 1,000-square-foot houses. That's not profitable. So if you really think about these first-time home buyers getting in now when they still exist in the marketplace, it's a great opportunity.
All right, there he goes. It shows you we got lots to talk about here. We're going to jam it all in.
I want to bring
hour.
it back after the break on that one.
Totally. 248-539-9797. We want to hear from you. Alrighty, welcome back to the show. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show in our 23rd and a half year, coming up on 24 years. Is
that's
that
like
correct,
rock
Becky?
star status.
Yeah, man, we're getting some great information here. If you're buying or selling a house, be sure to join us. 248-539-9797. We're brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We're powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289, Equal Housing Lender. And we got a great crew here. We got Susan Wieson, of course, from EXP Realty, Michelle Sayward, always sharing
you're
some great
titans.
stuff.
These are real estate titans in the room. Like, I can't tell you how excited I was for this show. I think I did tell you, actually, I was excited for this show because anytime that we can really, get our listeners and the viewers that are on Facebook Live right now, just real good, unedited content of people that can just, you're in it, your boots on the ground, you guys live and breathe it. Obviously, you know what's happening nationally. We know what's happening nationally because we're a national lender. But what's cool about us is we're also very boutique. We're big, but you don't feel like we're big because everyone's still talking to me. They're still talking to Harvey. We're still doing the things, just like with you guys. And the energy that you guys put out, but the knowledge, there's a reason why you guys have these illustrious real estate careers because, like you said before, you're in it to win it. And as long as you don't quit, our people are always going to be winning alongside us.
That's right. That's exactly right. I bow down to Susan because she's been in this game longer than me.
I hate to say how many years.
Be proud of that. It's a beautiful
It's a
thing
great
because
thing.
you can have 50 years experience or you could have 2 years experience, but when you're not in it every day, you lose it. And you're someone that is not like that. You are boots on the ground. You're in the mud. You're grinding every day, and you can hear it when you speak.
40 years is a long time to be in the real estate market, but my energy level of helping people is it just lights me on fire. And like, I feel like I'm 20 still.
Yeah.
I thought you were.
People matter. And it's a relationship, whatever we do in life. It's a relationship with you two. And Michelle, like, she's a rock star. Yeah. And we're here together because we all are rock stars.
Yeah.
What's the evolution of real estate, but it's the same, right?
Exactly.
We evolve as people, we evolve in our industry, like as far as technology goes, but the patterns are the same.
Yeah.
It's over and over again. It's very cyclical, and the ones that win are the ones that identify those patterns.
Michelle, you were talking about some affordability, first-time home buyers getting out there. I mean, there's no new construction first-timers because the builders are building bigger homes, bigger subdivisions. Probably a starting point on new construction's like $325,000, $350,000.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about being a first-time home buyer and you want to find something under $250,000, then you're going to be looking at most likely a resale home. And I mean, look, there's no profitability in a builder to build you 1,000 square foot or 1,200 square foot, starter home to make sure that it's affordable for you. They want to do what's right for them and their business. So unless we have some government subsidy program that's going to start giving buyers affordability, you really should be trying to get one of those pre-existing homes in a limited supply inventory. The pre-existing home that's maybe renovated or maybe needs some improvements that you've got your handyman on standby to do. So yeah, I was just on the break touching base here with Becky because I've heard this and I wanted to pull it up for myself and kind of look at it. Credit card debt during COVID when we couldn't spend our money on anything. 2001 was
people found a way.
It was at a record low credit card debt across the United States, and now it's at a record high, exceeding what it was in 2008 for record high. So, when people it basically went from, I can't spend money to, woohoo, I'm spending some money. Mm-hmm. But if you're spending some money and you want to get into a new home, you guys got some solutions for that.
Yes. So despite popular belief, right, interest rates are higher than they've been since the early 2000s. And this was something that we all saw the writing on the wall a long time ago. You can run back the tapes. We were talking about this even 2 years ago before it happened because it is something that was expected, right? Then COVID happened. It was the silver lining of these unprecedented low rates. Well, now here you are, like you're talking about. Naturally, people have ran up their credit cards. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't understand how people and just individuals, consumers, they won't bat an eyelash at paying 22% on their credit cards on this unachievable, paying the minimum payments. It's going nowhere, but yet they're going to clinch their pearls over when you say the interest rate might be like a 6.5 on a 30-year fixed and you're paying 100% on someone else's mortgage because you're deciding to rent. So if you are a homeowner and there's expenses that come with homeownership, right? You've now bought the house, you've renovated it, you've done things to the home, you bought paint, you bought furniture, and now you've opened up all the credits, the store's credit, the Gardner White furniture, whatever it might be. Now we're getting a lot of calls for these refinances because there is equity in the home. And the cool thing about home ownership is that is an asset that is tangible and you can utilize it to your benefit, but you have to be careful because if I do a cash out refinance for you and we reset the baseline and we have you back in a more affordable payment that you can afford, whether you started at 3% and now you're at 7%, the average is there. You're still going to save $500 a month.
It's the total monthly nut of what you are putting out. So
for sure.
I don't think people do that math in their head to go 22% on a credit card, 11% over here, 6% on a house or whatever. I don't think they average out those numbers to say, hey, you know what? If I get an average of these numbers all out, I might be paying 12, 14% total of a 22% credit card plus a 6% on a house and 11% on a, consumer credit card or whatever, right? Yeah. You're still further ahead because your monthly overhead is down. And what can you do with that extra cash in your pocket? So it's really looking at the big picture.
Yeah.
And there's a misconception also. Yeah. Mm-hmm. A lot of people hear on the media that interest rates are up, they're up, they're up. Mm-hmm. And people think they're 8% or higher. And they need to look at the overall average of interest rates. Right now, we're at an average that is not high.
No.
I mean, when I got in the industry, interest rates were 18%, and we were selling adjustable rates at 12.5%. Mm-hmm. When I refinanced my first house at 9%, I went, woohoo.
Yeah, you felt like you got touched by an angel.
Yes. but to refinance and take your debt and put it into one payment where you're saving interest over your lifetime is so worthy of your time to talk to a mortgage professional.
Yeah, and I'm going to give a real life scenario. Okay, so we're talking about the debt consolidation, but then we get a lot of calls on, do you do home equity lines? I have this really great rate, Becky, on my first. I want to leave it alone. And I have a real life scenario. I have a client right now. We looked at all the scenarios. We can do home equity lines of credit. So there's nothing that we can't do as far as lending goes, but it's all about what makes sense for you. Your situation is not the same as mine. So we looked at it and their debt consolidation, what their current rate was 3.5%. Okay. Then you have a home equity line of credit that, okay, the rate was this. And if we did the consolidation, this was what their payment was going to be. It made more sense to go on one loan at a slightly higher interest rate on the first than it did for them to keep their first at the 3% interest rate and take out that second at the other interest rate because the payment was higher taking out the two mortgages. Because like you're talking about, the averages are there and everyone's situation is different. So in one situation, I'm saving them $400 a month. In another situation, I'm saving them $550 a month. The math is there. Yeah. And so but you have to have someone that is professional enough to take the time to really break down your personal financial situation.
All right. So here's something a little cool with that. I'll let you jump in, Michelle. So again, we're looking at debt consolidation. We're going to save you money. And a lot of you families out there just got these mortgages. You might have bought the house in 18, 19, maybe just in the last 2 years, 20, 21, 22. So great stuff. You're about 27, 26 years left on your mortgage. So when I do these scenarios for families, I go, well, what if we dropped it all down to a 20-year? Now you're reducing your mortgage term 6, 7, 8 years. And if you do the amortization schedule on it, now you can see some real true savings. So again, not only can you do a debt consolidation, you're going to bite it a little bit and take that higher rate. Okay, take a little lower rate in a lower term, payments a little more, you save less, but now you've grabbed a hold of that equity of your house and you're really controlling things. And we're all on standby, Michelle, we're all on standby for lower rates. But we know on the buyer side, if you folks are out there waiting for these interest rates to drop, I'm not buying, I'm a little scared, I'm fatigued. Well, guess what? Everyone's going to come out of the woodwork. So if the rates drop, Lawrence Yun from the National Association of Realtors, they're all saying the same things. If the rates drop, folks, it's not going to be easier to buy a house. It's going to be a lot harder.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not changing that. We are in a national housing crisis as far as inventory. That is not changing.
And the value of your home, when they go to make that offer, when interest rates drop, your competitiveness with other buyers are going to be so high. And then so prices are going to escalate. We're not going to be in a down housing market.
No.
It's not like 2008 and 9 when mortgages were given to anybody who could breathe.
I was part of that.
And so now lenders are tighter, they're smarter, and they're giving loans to people who pay their bills on time and who have saved money.
You're absolutely right. These are well-qualified mortgages that are out there. You have to go through the hoops, and we have the conversations time and time again. Oh, my God, what do you want, a blood sample? Well, yes, if that's what it's going to take to get you in this house, give it to me, because there's nothing that I'm going to ask you for that I don't need, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to waste my time asking someone for documentation that we don't need. And that's for every lender out there. I'm going to do you a solid, right? So if your mortgage professional is asking for something, there is a reason for it, because we have to do what is right for us to make sure that we have, if someone opened up the book of your loan, We have to know what happened from the beginning to the end with no questions asked, because we have to make sure that we've done our due diligence and the reason why we've been in the business and been on the air for 25 or 23 and a half years.
There you go. 248-539-9797. We'd love to hear from some of you listeners out there enjoying the great day out there. This is going to be one of those unbelievable Saturday summers in the state of Michigan. So just be safe out there. And we appreciate all the listeners out there. Want to hear from you. 248-539-9797. When we come back, all of your calls. We are back. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. This is where you get your mortgage. That's right, folks. You want to close in 15 to 30 days? Give us a call. We get you done quickly. Hey, Becky, I'm going to put one of those things out there on my Facebook that says clear to close in one day. Okay, it was a one-touch file. It had a PIW. I'm going to start sending those out. Clear to close. I'm going to send a whole bunch out. I got one that closed in one day.
The ones that make me laugh are like pre-approved in 12 hours. And then these people are running around with pieces of paper that don't even qualify for mortgages. Like, it doesn't matter how quickly you pre-approve somebody if they're running around and then we're getting that second phone call because the deal's falling apart, because it happens. So don't be so braggy about the one-day pre-approval and just focus on getting everyone to the closing table, because that's really what matters.
All that great stuff. Hey, I'm going to go back to December 2021. A $700,000 loan in December of 2021. Let's just say the rate was 3.1%. So that principal and interest was $29.89. All right, fast forward today, $29.89, just under $3,000.
Yeah.
Fast forward today, if that rate's 6.9%, it's $46.10. So about almost $1,700 just in that, that year and a half that went by there. So yeah, things do cost a little bit more money now. Maybe, and we want to share this. I
got
families.
something on this.
We're excited, Becky, to tell families, and hey, you real estate agents, you too are saying, you're dating the rate, you marry the house, you want to purchase in today's market. Things do cost a little bit more. That plan, and Becky, all these numbers do mean something.
Okay, so to that point, you had during that time, everyone was like, I can afford $1 million house, and I've never been able to afford $1 million house. So then whatever. So now you have this $1 million house, but now you have $1 million house taxes.
True.
And they're not ready for that, because when they got reassessed, because I just had a conversation with somebody, is they have a great interest rate, but they are having heart palpitations because their taxes are $10,000 a month. And now that is now unaffordable for them. And that is something that, you could have bought that house in 2021, but some of those houses are hitting the market because now the taxes have been reassessed. Now it's associated with that new price point, and now you're priced out because it doesn't change. You can afford what you can afford. The interest rates tip the scales in your favor, but when someone was qualifying you, if they did not address these situations with you and talk about what the future was going to hold with these taxes, you're now in that same position where you were reaching beyond your means, because I'd much rather live under my means than even at my means. And I want my clients to have that same kind of discipline, because their future matters. It's not just about what's happening right now. It's about the future and setting them up for success now and 5 years from now even.
Yeah. Ramen noodles, $1 million house.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it's true.
But at the same time, you got to understand the difference that we were talking, like Harry was discussing about the difference in the house payment. But if you were to rent and you're a buyer, the rent values are so much higher than they've ever been historically. And like, I have investors looking for income properties right now.
Oh, yeah.
And it depends on what you're buying for your rent. And you have to look at this logically, whether it's a good move or not.
Susan, we said we were going to talk about some families out there that have that same lake itch that we have. Well, not that bad lake itch.
Our life is so blessed.
We have to live on the water. Like, again, I'm looking forward to my day to day, whatever we're going to throw in the cooler and all that great stuff. So, Susan, let's just definitely talk a little bit about that. You got almost 300 people that are looking to purchase something on the water here in Southeast Michigan. Tell us, and again, maybe even further out. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, I run an ad, and I right now have 300 homeowners looking to live on waterfront properties. And honestly, there's none available. Yeah. So, it's disappointing to these buyers that they can't even look at a home. And, I find that a lot of baby boomers are out there living in their waterfront homes, and they never even walk in their backyard.
Yeah, they're like, ha, 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 look at me.
People don't use their boats, right? They just stare at it.
It's amazing to me that I live on the lake, and I sit in my back patio, and like, I have one neighbor to the east of me. We're out all the time. And then another neighbor who always is on my back patio. Maybe we share a cocktail together. And then we look around, and there's nobody else out in the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Time to sell.
Why would you take benefit from this time when values are the highest historically they've ever been to sell your home?
Yeah.
Are they keeping them though for the family, right? So I feel like people that have these lakefront homes, they're retaining them for that legacy real estate.
Well, some of that, but what I'm hearing is like they locked in at either free and clear or a 3% rate, and the stock market went in the toilet. And so they're looking at their total portfolio and they're going, great, I have some appreciation, but if I cash out on this, I'm going to be buying a condo at 7%.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
I feel like there need to be like an
they're
echo
just-
for that 7%.
Yeah, they're just like holding longer because they're waiting for some rebound somewhere. And it's like you brought those stats, Becky.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're waiting for a rebound, and I want you to talk about that, of course, but if you're waiting for a rebound, like those stats showed that you had to like wait like 40 years or something for a rebound of like 1% or
Yeah.
something. And that's realistically not going to happen. If you're a homeowner that is sitting on a free and clear property and you're hoping that rates are going to go lower, it's just I don't think it's rates and I don't think it's prices. You're going to get damned either way. It's a double edge. So it's like, are you going to sell now, like Susan's saying, when your price is at a high, and you can capitalize and deploy that capital into something else that will, do better for your life, period. It's about living the life you want to live, not settling for, what you think is fiscally, the most intelligent thing to do.
Well, because people just get so caught up. You're right. People get caught up on the rates, and we can, one thing I want to talk about is divorcing rent forever and how we can set people up for success. But then on the flip side, but keeping it on this topic, retired buyers or retired people that have these free and clear homes, what is their next move? And I have a client right now. They were nervous, so nervous. Okay. Because an agent referred them to me and said, they're looking to sell their house. It's free and clear. They wanted to right size, we're going to call it. They now want to do a condo. They don't want to cut the grass. They have a lot of things happening, right? That tale is old as time. Then they talked to me and they got nervous. They're like, well, I don't want a mortgage at 7% or 6%, which our rate wasn't 7%, but just saying that, right? And I did the math for them. And I said, look, you can pay cash for the house. You can sell your house once we know what the price point is. And if you guys can buy your next condo and pay cash, that's fine. I'm not here to sell you. I'm here to help you and analyze your situation. But at the same time, you make what you make when you're retired. And if you can keep some of your nest egg in your bank account and maybe take out $100,000 loan and you put the majority of your equity and you have a small mortgage balance while you have a little bit of your nest egg to get you out of an emergency, then look at that situation as well. Because at the end of the day, it's got to work for you. But if you are retired and you're sitting on a free and clear house, you need to just have the conversation because you do have the equity, and that means the equity brings options for you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I find the biggest thing that breaks my heart is when somebody's elderly and they lose one or the other spouse and they live alone and they're so lonely that they need to look at options where they can have a community where they're talking to people, they're going to happy hours. It's a community where they get involved. And loneliness is awful. And I just think that people get dementia when they're sitting there in front of the TV and they don't interact with other people. And I see people just bloom when they go into maybe not assisted living, but community living.
Quality
and
of life.
where everybody's together and they go to happy hour at 4 o'clock and they go gardening together or they go shopping. I mean, live your life.
Okay,
Don't sit alone.
So to that point, I was actually at a closing, and it was an elderly woman. Her husband already was in the retirement community, and she wasn't ready for that. She wasn't ready to let go of the house. And so she finally sold it to the family. And at the closing, one of the last things she said was, I want you to know that I'm happy. I'm comfortable with this, and I've been I'm now at the retirement community, and it has changed my life. Now I don't have to, I have people I can talk to. I get cooked for and I don't have to clean it up. And she went on and on about how happy she was.
Yeah.
But it was a really beautiful moment because exactly what you're describing was the conversation in the room. And she was so happy to finally meet the family that was going to take care of her home and raise their family there.
The misconception is they think they're going to a nursing home and it's the place to die. It's not. It's
Yeah,
the
they're not
place
like
to
that
live
anymore. Yeah.
and have friends
New
and
friends.
do
I
things.
love it.
Yeah.
Keep going, Susan. Yes, it's a
And-
whole new life for a lot of families. You get up there in age. Well, we used to step down and become a step down buyer and buy a smaller home. Well, it doesn't matter. There's no guarantee your neighbors are going to talk to you. These
know.
retirement communities have been fantastic. And if more and more families get there, there's going to be more housing on the market. That's why we're promoting it too a little.
I mean, honestly, like it's that, sure. But in reality, we in this room, we do it because we care about the people that we deal with. So wherever you're
100%.
going, whether you decide rent works for you, then we're going to rent, but we're going to come up with a game plan to get you out of there. But if you are at that moment in that stage in that season in your life where you're tired of looking at the walls, because my grandma, there's one thing for sure, you can't talk to her enough because she's alone right now. And so that's not something that she would ever do. But you get lonely. You're right. And if you can put yourself in a position where you're happy and then you can turn around and put a new family in that home, what a beautiful thing.
All right.
Cycle of life.
We're up against a quick break here. Keep it on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. We'll be back. 248-539-9797. See you soon. All right, we are in the last segment here of the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Again, we are brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. Find us at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. We'll do a mortgage in any state. So if you want to buy a house up north or if it's in Minnesota, they got some lakes up there too. Mm-hmm. Down in Florida, Texas, anywhere for your vacation home, give us a call. 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
We go where you grow.
There you go. I like that one too. And evolving. We talked about evolving a little bit in the real estate or mortgage profession. And you do see a lot of the social media. And Michelle and I, I'm stalking Michelle. Michelle, I'll say it on the air. Sorry about your pooch. You had to put your dog down last week, but you dove right back in and you're enjoying this quality of life and you're giving more love that you have. You and Dave now got a new pup at home. Congrats.
Thank you. It's a bolt on to what Susan was saying about, seniors and looking to they're so sad over the loss of their portfolio, their spouse, their, whatever. But you really need to build a future that is a positive future for yourself. And if you're stuck living in the past, then you're going to just continually be sad. I was very, very sad last week, Thursday. Don't get me wrong. And I had an opportunity to adopt a dog that was going to go into a shelter that came unsolicited to me. I didn't tell anyone at all that I was that soon going to consider getting a dog. And now I've got a new golden retriever puppy. So I haven't slept in a couple days, but we're doing good. But I wanted to build something for my future that was positive, exciting. Same thing when it comes to a real estate housing, like, moving into a new community, moving into a new life, having that new opportunity. And I want to say, because this is, that's been a lesson for me, that I'm not going to, suppress my future desires and my future dreams for what is necessarily may seem logical to other people on the surface. Oh my God, Michelle jumped right into another dog right after that. What,
you're living, girl.
I'm living, and people should live. And this came to me this week. I've got a client right now.
I love it.
He's going through a divorce, which is hard. And he said to me on the phone, I said, "Are you going to rent or are you going to buy?" And he said, "I don't have it figured out yet." And I said, well, here's the thing. You don't need to have it figured out. And he's like, "What?" And I said, "We need to have a conversation. Like, I'll show you available what's for rent. I'll show you what's available for sale. And if you decide that renting is your layover and that's where you need to be, then do it." So I want the public to know. I want seniors to know, people going through divorce to know. I want people, first-time home buyers to know that you don't need to know specifically what it is that you want or where you're going. It's time to have a consultative conversation. And whatever you decide, Becky said it earlier, we want to see our clients happy. We want to see them doing what's best for them, whether it's a debt consolidation, moving into a senior center, getting a freaking puppy, renting a house, like whatever it is. We just want to help you figure it out. Why? Because if we help you figure it out, then we are going to be your referred and preferred professional going forward for the next 23 years of being in business, right? So
I love that.
Yeah, that's it.
It's my thing is it's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
When it makes sense for you is the time to move on. And I love everything that you just said, because everyone's situation is different. Everyone's life circumstances are different. And, don't put yourself in a box that belongs to somebody else.
Do not.
If you're like, oh, how I would never have got a dog that soon. Okay, well, that worked for you. How now, if you
I
would
would
have
never go to a senior community.
and if you wouldn't have done that, then you would have been robbing yourself of that beautiful
Future
puppy
joy.
face that's now in your face, or
Yeah.
the person that's in the retirement community now that would have been robbing themselves of having someone knocking on their door. Hey, here's this chicken. You didn't have to cook it. Here's this beautiful dinner. Hey, you want to go play euchre with me?
Yeah.
Like they have friends again. It's like, hey, you can knocking on the door. Can you come out and play? Yes, I can. I can come out and play.
Start living again.
Yeah.
Susan, let's talk a little lake living here and some fun that we always talk about. Let's talk about your neighbors. Talk about some of the things that you've experienced with some buyers recently.
I want to talk about a situation this week with
Go for it.
duck.
You're gonna bring up the dog?
And
Go ahead.
and it bothers me to the bottom of my heart. Like, Michelle lost her dog, which
Okay.
she's always going to love that dog.
Yes.
Even replacing that dog doesn't replace her hurt.
Yeah.
But I had a fisherman hook a duck and left it with the hook, and then the duck drowned, and I tried to save him. My neighbor and I got him out of the lake. We took the barb out of his mouth, and then we took the barb out of his fin foot, or whatever it's called. And he passed away, and it broke my heart. But we need to be conscientious as humans to value everything in life. And we have to feel that way about our business, about everything we do. And when we talk to whoever it is, if it's a baby boomer whose next move is to go into that house, we have to care about everybody, and we have to listen. And when I was young, I used to blabbermouth everything. And now I sit back and I listen to what everybody has to say because I care about them.
I'm going to stop blabbermouthing. Yeah. So I need
Well,
to
you
learn
can
from
blabbermouth because you have an excellent voice.
Oh, thank you.
You know, if you weren't in the mortgage
listen
industry,
more.
you should have been a DJ.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, hey, you know what, guys? Hold that thought. We've got a call. Can we bring that on, Eric? Okay, give Eric a minute here, and we're going to get this caller in. 248-539-9797. If you want to join the show, of course, we got Pat Caputo coming up with sports for the rest of the day. We got Tiger Baseball later in the afternoon.
I love that, though. What you were just saying is be present. And that's something that,
Fair.
you know, as I'm stepping into every season of my life, I was talking to somebody else this week, and the skin that I'm shedding isn't mine. It's the expectations of other people that I've shed. I'm shedding other people off of me and what they think I should do or what their expectation is, and being true to myself, because I'm a good person. You're a good person. Everyone's got a good person, but, you know, is a good person in their core. But when you you hooked a duck and you did something like that, like, that's on you. And that's unfortunate. And the fact that you took that effort to try and save that duck, that speaks to you. It speaks to your character, and it also speaks to how you treat your clients because you can hear it. It comes off of you. And anyone that is watching on Facebook, or if you're so privileged to have a conversation with Susan and Michelle, it radiates off of their body, their consideration of what your real needs are, because we can sell all day long, but we're past that. Right? We're past the hard pressure sales. We're all about aligning ourselves with the right people, both professionally, personally, and making sure our clients feel that out of us, because that's why you're 100% referral based.
I think Susan's next campaign could be Duck Duck House.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like that.
That's great.
Especially because you're lake living. That comes with a certain level of responsibility. So anyone that is looking for lakefront homes or lake access, being on a lake comes with responsibility, whether you're boating, whether you're jet skiing. And everyone always knows that the real true Lakers can't stand the holidays, because that's when you get the people that are not the boaters coming out into the community, and they're wild out there. You have
they're
to be
fun to
responsible.
watch.
Yes.
It's a spectator sport.
Becky, let's just do a little housekeeping here. Definitely wanted to buy a house. First-time home buyers out there, FHA loans are available. We talked about VA. We had Sherry on last week. And a quick shout out to Sherry Gramlich, who sent us some wonderful cookies from the show. But if you're
She's a class act. Sherry is
class
really
act.
good.
If you're a veteran out there, of course, 0 down opportunities here. FHA 3.5% down, 6% sellers concessions. Becky, 3% down on the conventional side. There's so many mortgage loans out there. We do so many down payment assistance programs. Become a homeowner, folks.
Yeah, it's very easy, but it's not where we're giving away loans, but at the same time, they have made it so easy for the affordability of it, because the reality is that it's not the payment. We talk about this often. People can afford the payment because we identify what fits for you. It is the funds for closing that 9 out of 10 times is the issue for some of these first-time home buyers, or even repeat buyers, because they maybe had a different experience. You have people that are buying their second and third homes, and they have no idea even what happened to them the first 2 times. So if you are looking to buy, we have programs where you can actually get assistance to help you with your funds for closing, and you don't even have to be a first-time home buyer, but you wouldn't know that unless you're having a conversation with the right people. Because if you're talking to a lender and they don't offer that program, they're not going to tell you about the program. So it's important to align yourself with people that matter. And sometimes you kind of run on the heels of who your real estate, like who they refer. But at the same time, they might be referring someone for the wrong reasons or whatever it is, and it's not giving you all the options available to you as a buyer.
I'm going to give a shout out to Capital Mortgage right now, because one of the things I think the public doesn't realize is that when you're going with a mortgage lender, their job is to build the story of your financial history. You're crafting the story. So it's like, okay, how do you package that in the best light? So when you're saying you're digging for extra information and you're doing that due diligence, going up may take a little longer to get the pre-approval, but you got to remember, do you want someone that's going to write the story of your life that's going to be full of typos and backspaces and edits and misspelled words? You're probably not going to get approved. Or do you want someone that's going to write the story of your financial history that has been, paragraph, indent, headers, commas, all in the right place, right?
Yeah.
So it's really how it gets presented, because there's so many sloppy lenders out there that won't do that work up front. So I just want to give you guys a shout out for doing that due diligence up front and putting together great stories for clients that they can get their offers to win.
Yeah, I
So
appreciate
thank you.
that, because you can do a pre-approval in a couple hours, but there's a lot of really tricky situations. People don't even understand when they're buying these leases on their cars, right? They co-sign for somebody, and now they didn't think that now affects their affordability. So some of these pre-approvals do take time. And could I look at something and be like, nope, I don't have time for that. This is going to take me too long. But I don't. I'm always trying to find if there's a way to get someone in a house. And sometimes it might take me 7 business days. I might send it to underwriting, because I'm doing you a disservice and my referral partners a disservice if I did not do the time up front and make sure that my person is running around with a piece of paper that matters, because my loans close and our loans close. And that's why, is because we do our due diligence up front. We're not trying to just slap someone at the wall and the law of averages. I'm here for 100% for my people, for my referral partners. And if that takes a little extra time, then be patient, because I'm going to make sure you find that house.
And I'm going to add something to that. A lot of times we're in a highest and best situation and you're making multiple offers. It makes a difference when you have a lender that will call and talk to the listing agent and put a good juju in for your client.
I like that.
And they're not somebody who just went online and applied for a mortgage and they have no relationship with that person and they didn't do their due diligence and care about that person. Same thing. It's a relationship. And your lender should be for life. And they should know you, and they should call you and keep in touch with you to find out what's going on in your life.
We got some great ones here. We got some great lenders in Michigan. It's one of the hubs of the mortgage world. So definitely keep that in your thoughts. Don't deal with out-of-state lenders and get off the clicking the buttons. You might deal with some unqualified people. That music says that's it, guys. Is that the fastest hour in radio?
Get out of here.
Absolutely.
Susan
Thank you for
Reese.
having us.
All right, out in Belleville Lake out there, and I know it's a lot of fun. Whatever you guys, I don't even know anything about Belleville Lake other than I've never been on it.
They got great
But
fireworks.
there they go. They got great
They do.
fireworks. All right,
They
you'll invite
do.
me, and I'll invite you out on Cass one day.
I'll take you up on that.
All right, always the great Michelle Sayward out there. If you want to buy a house, Grosse Ile, anywhere off the Detroit River, anywhere downriver, these ladies will hook you guys up for sure. Give us a call.
Anywhere nationally, even. I mean, if
Nationally.
you're buying out of state, they have the best people
We've
in
done
their
that.
Rolodex to make sure in their phones, whatever, to make sure that you're hooked up with the right people.
We're dating ourselves.
I mean, I had a Rolodex.
All right, guys, for Susan, Michelle, Becky Alley, I'm Harvey Free. We'll catch you next Saturday. Have a wonderful, safe weekend.
Thank you.